Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to Gleebooks. My name is Marion. It's my pleasure to be here on behalf of the bookshop which introduced tonight's event, Bouley Books. Before we begin the proceedings, I'd like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, the Giggled people of the Eora Nation, and pay respect to elders past and present. As we stand in this space and share these stories, I believe it's important that we remember the oral storytelling tradition that First Peoples have maintained and will continue to maintain over thousands of years. Please join me in welcoming Mick, Benita, and Trish to the Gleebooks stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. I'd like to acknowledge that we meet on Gadigal land, the Gadigal land of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to the elders past and present. Thank you so much for coming. There are fewer of you than we were expecting, but I think that's probably something to do with the weather. But you're a very welcome and very select audience. I think most of you know the story of the founding of our accidental publishing company. 8 months ago in this very spot, Richard was very kind enough to MC the event, and we launched the first two books. Wobbly Truths and Other Stories, which is by Natalie Scott, who is sitting discreetly at the back of the auditorium, but I'm sure would be delighted to sign copies of her books if anyone hasn't got Wobbly Truths yet. And my novel, The English Teacher, those were our first two books. And now we have two more, The Booze, Cheese and Chocolate Diet, and The Girl Who Giggled at Leopards. So we're beginning to feel like a proper publishing company. We haven't quite joined the elite yet. I looked last night at the scale of the publishing industry, and sadly, 90% of publishing in English is controlled by 5 companies. There are 1.7 million new books published every year, which is worth a total of $880 billion. So it's a big industry, and we are not even a small minnow in that industry. But we're determined to go on, producing what we can, a few interesting books in a wide variety of fields. And so this little diet book is. It's not really for everyone. If people are happy with their size and shape, then I'm not pressing them to make a change. But I have had difficulty in losing weight and losing cholesterol, lowering my cholesterol levels, and I thought I would just explain my experience because I found it possible to do that. And it's not a matter of the sort of diets that I hate are where you say, I'm going to lose about half a kilo a week for 6 months and deny yourself all sorts of pleasures. I think you need to do it sharply and get rid of the weight and then get back to enjoying yourself, which is why I think you don't actually need to cut out booze, cheese and chocolate, but you need to enjoy it more. You reduce the consumption, but you increase the enjoyment. And so I'll move on to our little experiment. We're going to attempt a world record here. It's the world record for tantric chocolate eating. Now, the thing about Richard gave me the name of tantric chocolate because I believe we all eat chocolate in the wrong way. We go into a shop, get a Mars bar, chomp, 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 chomp. There it is. It's 2 minutes. It's gone. And we've eaten 750 calories and we're not tasting chocolate anymore. The magical thing about chocolate is that it melts at body temperature. It literally melts in your mouth. Most of us take the chocolate, swallow it down, and it's gone. Then you're not tasting it any longer. If you keep even a tiny piece of chocolate in your mouth, it will melt and you will go on and on tasting chocolate. I take, after dinner, 1 square of chocolate, 50 grams, about 50 calories, and cut it up very small and have a piece at a time. And it will last, each piece will last about 10 minutes. I can watch a whole movie on 1 square of chocolate. Now, the same technique, what the book is about applying the same technique with booze and cheese, and it's a little bit harder with booze and cheese. But we're going to try this world record attempt. So I'm going to give you each one single button of chocolate. Benita, would you like one? Take it.
Can I have one afterwards?
You'll have it afterwards. Okay. Here we go. Have a tissue, because I don't want you to put it straight in your mouth. I want us all to put the chocolate in our mouths at the same time. Okay. Here we go. Very good, Natalie.
Thank you.
Will you have one? Yeah. No, it's okay. I think we can. Here we are. There we go. Right now, there is more. You can. Here we are. Yes.
I'll have one for later.
Have one for later. Yes.
Yeah.
Have you got it? Okay. Right. Here we go. I'm not really being mean with the chocolate. We can have the rest of the chocolate later on, but okay. It's 3:11. Okay. Let's eat chocolate. Go now, but put it in your mouths and let it melt. Don't chomp it and swallow it. See how long you can make it last. Go. Okay. And I'll say a little more about the book. So just keep concentrating. Don't swallow. Don't swallow. Keep it going. The book arose out of my own experience, because back in the 1990s, I had an overactive thyroid. One of the effects of that is that you put on, you don't put on weight. You eat as much as you like, and you lose weight. And I thought, this is fine. I was just sort of eating everything and still losing weight. But the doctor said, look, you probably have got to sort this out. So I did sort it out. And when I had a normal thyroid again, I went on eating, and I went on putting on weight then. And so I had to do something about getting rid of it. And I got a lot of advice from various people. I've always had valuable advice from William Shakespeare. He's advised me all through my life. And a dietitian, Dr. Naras Lapsis, was very helpful in checking through the whole manuscript. So Shakespeare's advice is to thine own self be true, thou canst not then be false to any man. And I think we have a true self and a greedy self. Now the greedy self says, go and get some more food from the fridge, just eat it, don't swallow it. And the true self will say, no, don't. And there's this battle. There's always this decision, am I going to eat this or am I not? And we make that decision every day. And we need to listen to the true self rather than the greedy self. Trish rather cleverly put the two on the cover. That's the battle between the two.
My chocolate's gone.
Your chocolate's gone. Whose chocolate has gone? Who's still?
Finished 5 minutes ago.
Who still has chocolate?
Oh,
Danelle still has it. It's look at the front row here, all still. And are you tasting chocolate? Yes, it's working. It's working. This is what? It's what? Can't speak. It makes it rather difficult to speak. Yes, that's why I didn't do one. Anyway, that's the story of the diet book, and I hope you enjoy it and find that it's a good Christmas present for people. We're going to move on to the children's book, and Trish, would you like to tell the story of where the children's book came from? Yeah, let's hear.
Okay, it's sort of got reawoken when I became a granny, and I went to visit my grandson, who was actually born during the lockdown, so in the UK, so I wasn't able to see him until he was about 18 months old. And February this year, I zoomed over to the UK and spent 3 glorious weeks enjoying my grandson. And he loves books, and he loves being read stories, and he likes that thing. He didn't have any words much at that point, but he did like the thing like of what animals, the noises that animals make. So what noise does an owl make? Woohoo, doo-doo, or what noise does a cat make? Meow. A dog's woof woof. And of course the lions go roar, and he especially loved the roaring lions. And on the flight home, I thought, I've actually got a book that I illustrated. It's a story that my cousin wrote, and I did the work when I was studying illustration at Harrow College of Art in about 1980. And so that's 42 years ago, I think. So, and it's been in my things, it's travelled all the way from England to Australia in my pile of work, and I thought this story is actually perfect for Elliot because there's this leopard that roars lots and a little girl that giggles when the leopard roars. And so I said to Mick, you've started a publishing company, haven't you? How would you like to publish this so I can give it to Elliot? And that's how it's come about.
And there it is.
Published it.
And it is a rather beautiful little story, and we have a big treat actually. Now back in the 1980s when I had two little boys, I'd say to them, look, it's time for play school. Benita's on play school. Are you going to come and watch? No? Yeah?
Has anyone got chocolate left?
Anyone got chocolate left? Hey, look at it, yes. John and Richard and Donnell and Libby. This is, yeah, I'm sure we've broken the world record. Now that's 5 minutes. 5 minutes already for a tiny little piece of chocolate. Would anyone like some more chocolate? Can I pass the chocolate around? You've got some already, Dave.
No, I'm good.
You're good. You're good. Yeah. Okay. Will you? Thank you. Thank you, Roger. Very good. Okay. So, yes. Back in the 1980s, my two little boys, I'd say, look, there's the play school's on. Benita's on play school, and they'd say, no, we're playing football in the garden. I said, oh well, all right, I'll just watch play school by myself then. Okay. And here we are. We have our very own play school with Benita, who is going to read Trish's story. I will do I'll show the pictures because we like to see the pictures, don't we? So I'm going to.
I'd like the front page first.
Oh, the front page. Here we are.
So, The Girl Who Giggled at Leopards. Written by Sue Moore and illustrated by Trish Lemoyne. And it says, for Elliot, who loves to roar. There was once a little girl called Scarlet. She loved to giggle loudly at any passing leopard. "You be careful," her father warned. "Leopards don't like being giggled at." But Scarlet did not care, and one day when her father was at work, she went for a walk to find a leopard to giggle at. She hadn't gone far into the jungly hills when she came across one hiding behind a big rock. The leopard was waiting for her to come along so that he could chase her all over the place. As soon as Scarlet came within range, the leopard sprang out and growled fiercely. "Grrr, grrr, grrr."
You can roar. We can all roar.
Scarlet just giggled. Now the leopard took great exception to this. "What does that squirt of a girl think I am?" he thought. "A monkey? A cockroach? A lion? No, on second thoughts, not a lion. They are even fiercer than I am." So, next day, when the leopard saw Scarlet coming, he sprang out from behind a tree and growled even louder than before. "Grrr! Grrr!" "Nice leopard," said Scarlet, and she tickled him under his chin and blew at his long, spiky whiskers. The leopard couldn't stand that, not one bit. He raced headlong off into the jungle where he sharpened his claws on a tree, lashed his tail into some bushes and gnashed his sharp teeth till his jaws ached. Then he began making fierce faces at himself in a nearby rainwater pool. "I am a leopard," he roared. Then he looked again at his reflection in the water. He certainly did look very fierce. He made an even fiercer face and growled even louder. "Grrrr!" and practically frightened himself out of his very own skin. Then he stalked off into the depths of the jungle and snapped viciously at all the birds, monkeys and other smaller animals. They all ran off, very frightened. See, they are all frightened of me. So why does that silly little girl giggle at me? I don't like being giggled at. Next day, when Scarlet again passed him by, the leopard stuck out his paw to make a grab for her leg. Scarlet stopped in front of the angry leopard. "Now, little girl, why do you giggle at leopards?" he asked politely but fiercely. "Well, began Scarlet. "I giggle at leopards because I'm really very frightened of them. So if I giggle at them, it sort of takes my mind off being scared of them, if you see what I mean." "I think I see what you're getting at," replied the leopard. "After all," Scarlet carried on, "leopards are extremely fierce and frighten everybody and everything. I think they're even fiercer than lions." The leopard blinked. He was pleased. "Fiercer than lions, eh?" he said, smiling. "Certainly," grinned back Scarlet. "How about tigers?" "Oh, leopards are much fiercer than tigers." The leopard purred and suddenly felt very friendly. "You are a nice little girl," he said sweetly, and he gave Scarlet a great big lick. After that, the two of them often went for walks together, and every so often the leopard would stop, turn around, and give a friendly growl at Scarlet. "Grrr." And in turn, Scarlet would giggle back at him. And that's the end of the story.
Thank you, Benita. That was lovely. That's reliving something from long ago. Very, very wonderful. And really, I think the only thing that I have still to tell you is that we have secured a great coup in the form of the runaway roller skate, which absolutely my favourite children's book ever. I know it by heart. I read it to my own children probably 600 or 800 times. And Trish and I tracked down the writer, John Vernon Lord, who is a professor of illustrating at his village in Ditchling in Sussex, and he's agreed to us republishing it in its 50th anniversary year. So that's our big project for next year, and we hope to invite you all back to relaunch the Runaway Roller Skate. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you. And there is still plentiful supplies of wine and cheese, so I recommend have some. And there is still chocolate too. Has anyone still got chocolate in their mouth? Whoa, well done, well done. That's wow, brilliant, brilliant. There we are. That's 15 minutes. That's definitely a world record for tantric chocolate eating. We'll tell the Guinness Book of Records.
I've got a question. Why is it tantric chocolate?
Well, Richard Moorcroft named this. Richard, would you like to explain why it's tantric chocolate? I think it's a matter of prolonging pleasure, isn't it? Really.
That was neatly summarised, Mick. Yes, my limited understanding is that's the concept, to take something very pleasurable and make it last for a very long time through considerable control.
Yes. Well put. Any other questions?
I might ask them something else a bit later on.
Okay. Yes, Margot.
Tell me about wobbly truths. I hadn't heard of it before, and I just wondered if it was about disciplined reasoning or...
Wobbly Truth is written, I think the author is sitting behind you, Margot, and she, perhaps Natalie, would you like to tell us something about Wobbly Truths? Please.
I'm going to call upon the person who launched it. You remember?
Oh gosh.
You want me to say? Oh, Mick, you're already there.
Yes, indeed.
Go ahead.
Probably the back cover tells. It's not a book for children.
No, I didn't imagine.
No, it's how do we explain?
I'm a philosophy student, and it just seemed to be a connective bell, and I just wondered if it was a philosophical...
Well, I'd like to think something does, but I hadn't seen it happen that way.
I think it's very philosophical. I've read it. Why don't you let me...
They're delightful little stories about people who are damaged or disabled in some way. They live on the fringes of society. And Natalie gave me this to read when we were both in lockdown. In fact, I'll tell you the origin of the company was that Natalie gave me her set of stories, and I gave her my novel, because I wrote it 25 years ago, and I had another pass at it and thought, yes, that's beginning to work. And Natalie's stories, I was very struck by the stories because they give a voice to people who are normally voiceless. The heroes and heroines of Natalie's stories are people we would sort of see in the street and think, oh, we'd avert the eyes, probably not look at them. But not always, but many of them. And she gets inside their heads, not only what they say, but what they're thinking is there. And I thought these stories are too good to be kept. They need to be published. And that was really the whole beginning of Bouley Bay Books. So I would recommend them very highly.
I dare say that some of them being in literary magazines and what else? Who else I'm trying to think. I have written, I'm a writer of various things and published other novels and collections of short stories. So this is my third collection of short stories. And until other people read them, I wasn't aware of how sad some of them are. But there we are.
Okay. And where does one go to buy a book?
Gleebooks, yes, they're all available here, or from our website, or on the online sites, the Amazon and Booktopia and World of Books. They are available in that way. But of course, we like to patronise bookshops because it keeps bookshops going.
Well, okay. I'd just like to say that Mick and I published his novel and my stories last April, and I've been really quite struck by some of the reviewers and what's been said about it. And notably, just a couple of weeks ago, Caroline Irvington, who's the literary editor of The Australian, did a piece with a collection of notable books.
Yes.
Which gives me a boost.
Yes, it did. It was a very nice review. Yeah. Any more questions? Then I think it's time for booze, cheese and chocolate.